So UFC 303 is going down on June 29th, and it was supposed to be an event about Conor McGregor returning to the octagon, but an injury has sidelined McGregor, and the show must go on. But still, there are some intriguing bouts for us to talk about, so let's do it with Ike Feldman. He's a content creator covering UFC 303 for GiveMeSport.com. Ike joins me now. Ike, how's it going, man?
It's going great. Vegas is hot, man. It's hotter than two rats in a sock, to quote the great college football analyst Brian Jones, but I'm doing great, brother.
To which I always wondered, when have there ever been two rats in a sock? That's a whole other question for another time, but glad for you to be able to join us from Vegas, Ike. And I have to ask you about this, because with Conor McGregor pulling out of UFC 303 due to injury, how has the overall excitement and anticipation for the event changed among fans and fighters, if it has at all?
Well, there's nothing quite like a Conor McGregor event. The last time we saw him was 3 years ago, UFC 264 against Dustin Poirier, the trilogy fight. He'll never admit to losing that fight. He broke his lower leg in that, and the anticipation for the return, especially with the Ultimate Fighter, we thought it'd be last December, then we thought it'd be March, and then he announced June 29th in Vegas. We definitely lost the casual fan, but with an Alex Pereira fight, which I hope more casual fans are learning, this guy is the new samurai of this generation. He is the Anderson Silva, to throw it back then. Can't speak a lick of English, but he does his talking with the fist. So for hardcore fans, incredible fight week. Elite matchup. Skill for skill, a much better fight than Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. So I hope casual fans, there's nothing to do. June 29th, no football, no basketball. Hey, tune into a UFC. It's going to be spectacular.
All right, so if you want some good fights, tune into UFC 303. And part of the reason is the main event, the main card, now features Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. And this is a rematch. How do you see this rematch unfolding, and what key factors do you think will determine the outcome? And also, got to give me your prediction. Who do you have coming out on top?
I love this. I don't know if you remember the Pride Days, which was the blue gloves and the white ring in Japan, 60,000 fans. Everybody was always clamoring, those were the days, back in my days, classic Pride Days. I think we're entering that with the UFC. Conor McGregor brought the UFC to the ESPN platform. It was part of the deal with the sale to WME. I think he holds maybe 8 out of 10 records in the top pay-per-views for the UFC. So more eyeballs are on this. This are two talkers. The press conference was absolutely boring. I think I took a nap during it. But when the lights go on, the bright lights, Fight Night, T-Mobile Arena, this is the samurai versus the tribal warrior. They will do their talking with their fists. It's going to be incredible. The first fight was at MSG, second round knockout. For this fight, I'm expecting Yuri to get the W and then spin it forward into a trilogy. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Yuri's been saying that Alex is using some dark forces and that he fights with a pure heart. So just with that sentiment, I got to go with Yuri.
All right, so you got to go with the person fighting with the pure heart in Yuri against Alex using the dark forces. See, everybody wants to stay away from the dark forces, Ike. I'm glad that you are doing that. I want to talk to you about another fight.
Especially in Vegas.
Yes, yes, that's true in Vegas for sure. I want to talk to you about another highlight on this card, which is Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. What are the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter in this matchup, and who do you think has the edge?
Okay, the most interesting thing was that Diego Lopez, a much lower-ranked fighter, over Brian Ortega, who's fought for the title multiple times, 5-round main events. The dude has done it all. He's been in movies, he's in Modelo commercials, he hangs out with Halle Berry. But to me, why is Diego Lopez the favorite? It's because he's young, he's hungry. He's in that humble Conor McGregor stage, if you can remember, way back when. And that means he's training 5 times a week, even in his offseason. Ortega, who you could kind of say is box office, to quote Stephen A., or is Hollywood at this point, probably was just on the couch, got the call 2 weeks, and the UFC knows this. And it's extremely evident of this because Ortega asked for a 10-pound allowance. They just weighed in yesterday at 155 pounds, 10 pound over their normal weight of 145. So to me, I got to go with the young, hungry, starving killer, Diego Lopez. And stylistically, it should just be a masterclass of grappling.
All right, so this should be a grappling masterclass. We will see you going with Lopez in this one. Last thing for me here, Ike, Ian Machado Gary is now, he's carrying the flag for Ireland at UFC 303 with Conor McGregor not in this one. How significant is this fight for his career, and what can we expect from his matchup against Michael Venom Page? What do you think how this one goes down?
It's a big fight. He's a big talker. We love those Irish boys. They got that confidence, that charisma, but he is not Conor McGregor 2.0, not even close. He talks well. He looks the part. But when the cage door closes, he's kind of a point fighter, kind of a decision maker. McGregor, leading up to the Jose Aldo fight, he knocked out 6 out of 7 opponents, and the only one he didn't knock out was Max Holloway, who's never been knocked out. So Machado Gary doesn't carry that same type of power or ferocity on fight night, but he's a pleasure to listen to. But I think he wins the decision. It's the biggest fight of his career on the biggest card for him to be fighting on. And just climbs the ladder, maybe 1 or 2 spots. Nothing significant, but a 3-round decision for Ian Machado Gary.
All right, going with a 3-round decision for Ian Machado Gary. And you talked about Machado Gary. He sure can talk. He definitely can do that for sure. That is Ike Feldman. Check out his work, one of the great content creators covering MMA out there at UFC 303. Ike, I appreciate the time and you previewing this main card for me. We will chat down the road some more combat sports. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dexter. And got to give a shout out to the ultimate champion, my wife, who's watching the 3 kids while I get to have fun in Vegas. I mean, work in Vegas.
Good job by you. See, that's how I know your heart is pure and there's no dark forces there. That's a great job by you there. Thanks, Ike. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Dexter.